So guys, another thing I wanted to talk about today, yes, is the same shirt. I did this video the same day I did the last one. A thing I want to talk about is expectation and disappointment. You see, as human beings, we are beings of expectation. We expect. Naturally, we just expect. We expect people to be kind to us. We expect parents who we call our mothers and fathers to love us. We expect life to give us our soulmates. You know, people have this conception or this conceived idea that there's somebody in this world that was made for you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't share that train of thoughts. For lack of a better word, I don't share it. I don't think there's somebody made for you. I think it's a conscious decision you make to be with somebody. You know, you decide, look, in everybody I've ever met, I choose you. You know, I choose you. You have your flaws, you have everything, but if I was to pick anybody, I pick you. You know, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and that's what it is. You know, and you call that person your soulmate, like she was meant to be yours or he was meant to be yours. No. If you fumble with that person, they would end up with somebody else, and that's just the truth. I don't know why I can't say truth like once. It just has to it just has to mess me up the first time, you know. But yeah, I would say that expectations are I think they are a staple among cultures. But with expectation comes disappointment, right? With expectation comes disappointment. And when we get disappointed, the resulting emotion is sadness. It's regret. Because why did we do this? Because we thought we would get this in return. Or why did we ever think that this person would be who we thought they were? Blah, blah, blah. There's a thin line when you stop expecting things and when you start letting things be. It's a very thin line that most people cross. And here's where the problem is. When you stop expecting things, that's not necessarily good. Yes, it saves you from disappointment, but it also means you don't hope for anything. And that's a very sad reality. Hope. Without hope, that seems to give the idea that you're hopeless. You know, you don't expect anything from anybody. It's like you've given up on life. That's what it is. That's what it is. But when you let things be, you're allowed to hope. You're allowed to look forward to the best, what might be, right? And decide, look, as much as I want this thing to be, and I'm really hoping that it works out the way the way I've conceived it in my mind, we also need to be able to accept and go, look, regardless if this works out or it doesn't, I'm good. I would love for it to work out the way I want it to, but if it doesn't, I'm fine. I think that's the line. That's the line we shouldn't cross. The line of letting things be and not expecting anything. When it comes to a relationship, my God, it has started raining. I probably have to cut this video off quickly. So I'm just going to round up quickly. This is probably going to be a short video. When we stop in a relationship, right, we expect things from our partners, you know, love, care, empathy. You know, we expect all these things. And yes, you are to expect these things. That's the whole point of a relationship, companionship. If you're in a relationship and you're not getting love, you're not getting warmth, you're not getting companionship, you're not getting a friendship, you're not getting a confidant, why are you in a relationship? That's a genuine question. Like, what are you looking for in a relationship? If you don't have all these things, if you are in a place where you're constantly agitated, you're anxious because your partner is finicky, 1 minute the person is this, 1 minute the person is that, there's no sense of stability, why are you in that relationship? But that's a question for another day. So let's say you're in a relationship, you're expecting all these things, or you're about to enter a relationship and this person you've been crushing on, you're getting to know this person. We wouldn't admit this, but most of us have this thing that we do. When we like somebody, immediately we idealize the person. We take that person and fit them into these fantasies that we have of ourselves. Oh, you and this person strolling on the beach. You and this person having warm, cuddly conversations at night. You and this person getting married. You and this person having children and going to Dubai. You've pictured all these scenarios that are so wonderful. And in that process, we've forgotten to look at the reality. Who is this person? Like, who is this person I'm idealizing? You don't know. Maybe you know their name. You don't know where they're from. You don't know what they do in their spare time. You don't know what their flaws are. Very important. You don't know what they want. See, you've taken this person and you fit him in all your different expectations, and then without you realizing, you're putting pressure on this person because you have created a character that is most probably not even true to the person that you're trying to speak to. With women, they might start thinking of guys as, oh my God, he's going to be spend money on me, take care of me like a baby girl. And then this guy in reality could be a very frugal person. I'm just using this as examples. They could just be a frugal person. You might not like to spend money a lot. You're thinking of traveling the world with this person, and then this person on the other hand doesn't even like traveling. He has this plan of just going here and staying here and stability, and you're an adventurous person. You're a free spirit. Expectations give room for disappointment, but letting things be. Like I said, you look at all these things, and then you see someone you like, and then you go, wow. And then you're allowed to have fantasies. Don't get me wrong, but always remember to come back to reality. After you travel, you go all there. Come back and say, okay, who's this person? Do I even like this person? Because sometimes we take the picture of the person, we like the image of the person, and then we attribute all these qualities that we also like to that person simply because we like the image. And then we attribute all these great qualities, and then we fall more in, I wouldn't say love, but we get more infatuated with this idea because it's literally everything we want in a person. But we forget that the reality is this person might have little to none of the qualities we want. Maybe out of 10, 5, if we're being generous. If we're not, 4, 3. When you really get to see people for who they are, we stop being infatuated. It comes from a more logical ground point, because emotions are a high. They can take you to places unknown to a man. But when you see people for who they are, you realize this is just another human being. This is not the perfect guy sent to me. This is not the perfect girl. This is not the girl that will solve all my problems. This is not the guy that will change my life. No. This is a dude, and this dude is this, and this. Fact. Not possibly, not through your ideas, not hypothetically, through active conversations and observations of this person that you say you are interested in. During this talking stage thing. When you expect, you see red flags, but you don't notice them because you're expecting. You're not observing, you are creating. Do you understand? So we tend to make compromises when we shouldn't. And this is not a relationship video. I just sort of stumbled into that field. But in general, expectations are the root cause of disappointment. And until we learn to balance that thin line of letting things be, expecting things, but also being fine with the possibility of those expectations not coming through, then and only then will we be free of disappointment. You know, when maybe you go for an interview at a job that you really want to get, and you're like, fingers crossed, man, I really hope I get in, you know. But then I should probably go, just scout for more jobs. There's a possibility, it might not work out. So, I can't have all my eggs in one basket. That's the thin line. That's that line. It's expectation, but understanding that things might not play out the way you want them to, right? And so being ready for a situation where it doesn't. So if you go out looking for other means, going for other jobs, and that one comes back as, I'm sorry you didn't get in, you'll be like, oh man, that sucks. I really wanted this job, but it's all good. As opposed to, man, I really hope this job, man. This is my dream job. Oh man, I can't wait to get this, blah. And then it comes back, and then you don't get in, and then you're crushed. You lock yourself in the room for days. You're like, oh man, I didn't get this job. I'm a failure. See, that's the difference. That really is the difference. Letting things be, understanding that things will not play out the way you want them every time. And then you let things be, and then it does come back in your favor. Wow, now it's amazing. You didn't have all your hopes on it, but now, my God, sometimes it can come as a surprise, because we can even, just take our minds off it, like, bruh, that one's gone. And then all of a sudden, you did get it. It's a different kind of happiness now, because it's like multiplied. That's the difference. And I hope I didn't speak rubbish throughout this video. I hope somewhere in the gibberish I've spat, somebody's able to pick one or two things and, click and resonate with them. Once again, thank you for listening. It's your boy Gerard, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.